And you're in tune with the Weekend in Wyoming program. On the phone, I have Cheyenne Mayor Marian Orr. Good afternoon, Marian.
Good afternoon, Doug.
So, of course, as everyone knows, you're running for re-election as mayor. Why should people vote for you for another term? We'll cut right to the chase here.
Well, absolutely. And I think that they should vote for me for another 4 because they know what they're getting. I mean, we are obviously in very turbulent times. We are doing great economically. We've got a lot of development going on. We continue to fight the blight. We continue to do road improvements. We continue to be transparent in city government. And I just don't think right now is probably the time to switch coaches when we've got a really great team at City Hall.
Now, looking back on your first term, what are some things you would point to that you'd say you're really proud of?
Well, first I'd say fight the blight. You know, we just opened up to the public the new Judge Joseph M. Carey building. It's going to be home to the new municipal court. And if you haven't been down there yet, let us know. We'll get you in to have a tour. It really cleaned up one of the most dangerous and abandoned buildings in our downtown area. We've got the Atlas Motel that's come down. We've got the Cole Shopping Center that's come down. We've got abandoned homes that have been scraped, and there are no longer, drugs and other things being dealt out of them, and they're increasing the value for those neighborhoods. We've been transparent. We completely redid the website. People may not like us spending or think that we're spending too much, but the bottom line is they can go online and they can track monthly. All of our financials are online, and so we've done that since day one. We Facebook Lived all of our city council meetings, and that was through my administration, so people can be tuned in, which is even more so important now when we're trying to, socially distance, but yet still remain engaged. And we've done some really great infrastructure projects. We continue to work on the roads. I can tell you for any future candidate, never promise to fix the roads because there's never going to be enough money with our current revenue stream to have the most pristine roads, and plus our weather just isn't conducive to it. So we've done what we can with the means that we can, and so I'd really say that those are probably some of the capstones of the past 4 years, and then of course getting our community through COVID. One of the things that I first did when I came into office, it was interesting. The morning after the election, I had breakfast with my family that had come in from around the state and out of the state, and they were all really excited, and suddenly I kind of felt the weight of the community on my shoulders, thinking that during my administration, the odds were pretty high that something unfortunate would happen. When we look across the country, there's school shootings, unfortunately. We've had tornadoes in the past. We've had floods in the past. So I really felt this weight. And so I asked our staff, I said, what's our disaster preparedness plan? And I found out that we didn't have one. And so we created one in my administration. And about a week before the president and our governor declared emergencies, I could see from relationships that I have with mayors from around the country that something really unprecedented was heading down our way, kind of like seeing a freight train that you can't stop. And I told all of my department heads to start keeping track of their time spent on addressing the pandemic, as well as any spending that was necessary to address the pandemic. We created a special account right away. So if we had to buy sanitizer, PPE, we could track all of that. So we've been tracking our time and our spending in regards to this. But also, what I really encouraged staff to do, and we did it, was basically a tabletop discussion of, let's say City Hall gets hit by a tornado. We need to be able to still do building permits. We need to still issue licenses. We need to still conduct court. How do we do it and do it remotely? And our IT department set us up. We all had workable laptops that connected to the mainframe system, and we were able to essentially shut down City Hall, have everybody work remotely the Sunday before that Monday that really everything was shut down. And for the most part, it's been pretty seamless.
Now, of course, I think whenever somebody takes a new job, there are frustrations and things you didn't expect. What have you learned in your term as mayor that you could apply in a second term going forward?
Oh, patience. Patience and temperance. Here's the deal with any elected official, and I think this probably gets forgotten. First and foremost, aside from being mayor, I'm also human. When you are an elected official, you have to make decisions, and I want to make decisions, and I want to make them quickly, because government doesn't necessarily move quickly. So the quicker that I can make a decision, then we can get that ball rolling. Have I always made the right decision? No. And nobody ever does. And would I probably temper my tongue? Yep. And I think I've learned from that. If you look at probably my social media and my responses back from, say, today to 4 years ago, I'll put something out there, and I just leave it out there, and I'm not going to go back and forth so much anymore. I might set the record straight if the facts are wrong, but everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I've learned a lot, and I've grown a lot through that. And so, if there's any takeaway from me, I think that we've done really good things, and it's just knowing that you can't please all of the people all of the time. It's what Senator Enzi, a good pal of mine, he's actually the former mayor of Gillette. He's got that 80-20 rule, and I think we've done really phenomenal things.
They say if you hold a can of new Lone Star Rio Hottie to your ear, you can hear the sound of a river day inside. They also say if you drink a can of Rio Hottie, it tastes like a Mexican lager. Both are equally amazing. Try the new taste of Texas. Lone Star Brewing Company, Austin, Texas. Please drink responsibly.
Babe, aren't you forgetting something?
Happy birthday?
My birthday's in October. Nice try.
Oh, I've got it. It's Renewal by Anderson's 25th anniversary and time for their Christmas in July sale. How could I have forgotten? They're doing twice the deals. Let's go right now.
Babe, it's our anniversary.
One way or the other, it's definitely time to celebrate. This July, put on your party hat at Renewal by Anderson with twice the deals. Their Christmas in July sale is back with 20% off all windows and doors. And celebrate 25 years of Renewal by Anderson with 25 months, same as cash. That means no money down, no payment, and no interest for 25 months with approved credit. That's zero payment for over 2 years until 2022. Merry Christmas in July and a happy anniversary from Renewal by Anderson. Renewal by Anderson, here to serve you. Visit rvawyoming.com or call 201-9969 today. That's 201-9969.
For over 90 years, Methodist Health System has been here for our community, and we will continue to be. Tap to learn how Methodist Health System is striving to improve and save lives through compassionate, quality healthcare.
They invite you in for a stress-free, easy experience. Stop by or visit KiaofCheyenne.com.
America's #1 personalities, Rush, Hannity, Dave Ramsey, and now Michael Savage, all on Cheyenne's #1 News Talk Radio, AM 650 KGAB.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
This is high blood pressure. Get back on your plan. Go to loweryourhbp.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
AM 650 KGAB, you're in tune with the Weekend in Wyoming program. On the phone, I have Cheyenne Mayor Marian Orr. We are taking calls. I would ask that any calls be related to issues in the mayoral campaign. Marian, you do have two opponents. I'm going to ask you individually where you differ from them. First of all, where do you differ from Patrick Collins? Where is your vision for the city different than his?
Well, I think my vision for the city is different from his, is that he's running on roads, and our roads are definitely important, and they're not going to get forgotten. But I can tell you, that should not be a main campaign point in this time. And he's also running on economic development, saying that we need to increase economic development. And I'm wondering if he's been part of the conversation or has known what's been going on over the past 4 years, because since I hired Brendan Ames to be my Chief Economic Development Officer, we have over 200,000 square feet of active development going on. We have economic development going on, and it's been created in this administration. And furthermore, it was really interesting in one of our debates. He kind of closed with saying, history repeats itself, and do we really want another 4 more years of this administration? And to that, I would counter back and say, yes, history does repeat itself. And what accomplishments did he really find and do and can hang his hat on when he was on city council and he was president of the city council? So far, all I can kind of point my finger to is our administration has had to handle the debt that we've taken on, particularly with the Spiker Garage. I don't know who or what administration other than Patrick's would get us into a balloon payment situation with the Spiker Garage that we still owe millions of dollars on. The Ice and Event Center was a purchase during his administration. And so, we do differ. Mr. Coppinger, he's a constitutionalist conservative, and I really appreciate that. However, I can tell you that the position of mayor, there's a reason it's nonpartisan. And that's because infrastructure should not be Democrat or Republican. It shouldn't be liberal or conservative. And I find it so interesting in that the liberals all think that I'm a Trumper, and the Trumpers all think that I'm a socialist Democrat, which means I must be doing my job because nobody really knows what I am. I'm just trying to move our city forward, and I think I've done a fine job over the past 4 years.
Marian, looks like we have a call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air.
Yes. So I've got a litmus of some fraternity brothers of mine, different cities, okay? Like in Chicago, one of my fraternity brothers, he had an office downtown Chicago on LaSalle Street, which is the center of the business district. He can't get his workers to show up anymore because it's too dangerous. Restaurants boarded up. So he has to go down there by himself at noon, get his mail, and go home. In Minneapolis, they have this defund the police kind of a thing, and my other fraternity brother, he had to move his office to St. Paul from Minneapolis. And Denver, okay, my other fraternity brother down there, he said there's homeless people on the street. He said people no longer come downtown. They, work from home and whatnot. So, it's all this defund the police and all that kind of stuff. I know it may seem remote now, but I think that's a huge, just big mistake to entertain lawlessness. So I was looking for your opinion on that.
Well, thank you. That's a really good point. And I will tell you that in my 4 years of being mayor, I have stepped outside of Cheyenne, much to some chagrin of others, and I have gotten to be colleagues and in working rooms with other mayors from around the country, including Mayor Lori Lightfoot from Chicago, who we could not be more separate and apart. Mayor Jenny Durkin from Seattle, we could not be more separate and apart. Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms from Atlanta, Georgia, we could not be more separate and apart. Mayor Fry from Minneapolis, and the mayor from St. Paul. He and I actually communicate quite often. Defunding the police is it's obviously not the right thing to do, and furthermore, if anything, we should be funding them greater with training. And I will tell you that I'm so incredibly proud of our police department in that Minneapolis actually reached out to our police department to find out how we do business. And that means we're doing it right. When it comes to, the economy and shutting things down, other mayors have I think, probably gone way too far, but especially like in Seattle, with the CHOP district, and Denver, if you allow one riot or if you allow one camp to kind of take hold, good luck on getting that block back or those 6 blocks back. So I really believe in being firm and tough, and so does our chief of police. And, we have had to undergo some budget cuts. Fortunately, we had some really great news. Our economy is actually doing really great. Our sales tax revenue was actually up 7.5% for the month of June over June of last year. And so I can tell you that when we start to look at the budget, and I told City Council that we're going to completely have to look at the budget on an ongoing basis, we need to make sure that we've got our police force funded and we've got our fire departments funded. But these other communities where the mayor hasn't been strong enough to basically stand their ground and keep their community safe has been troubling. And actually what we're seeing from that, quite honestly, we're seeing businesses that want to move here, that want to move from Minneapolis to Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Yep, that was
and
my
bring
next
their manufacturing business here. It's great.
Yep. So good for you. I think that's. I was just giving you a litmus, just a simple test from a few of my friends, different places, and how bad it's gotten. And so I appreciate your comments. So the other thing I was going to mention is that I'm not quite sure what they call it, but they're moving kind of the state of Wyoming energy-centric operations to Cheyenne, which includes, oil and gas and coal and, the carbon sequestering kind of a thing. And that's a huge thing. And that could be a really positive thing for the city and for younger, new graduates and whatnot. So my humble suggestion is, get behind that, and I think you're on the right track. People are going to move here because they don't want that, that poor lack of support, for better words. Anyway, let's think about
thank you.
Energy thing that's going on. I forget what they call it. It's the Wyoming Energy Board. I forget what they call it.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And that Cheyenne is becoming the hub for the energy, renewable, all of those kind of industries. And what we're seeing, especially from Colorado, because Colorado has become so anti-extraction, anti-oil and gas, anti-production, that we're seeing companies come here that, manufacture those kind of products. And, wind, solar, oil, gas, data centers. We still have data centers that are courting us. And fortunately, we're sitting in a really great position, and I've got a wonderful relationship with the new executive director of Leads. Again, Brendan Ames is a good. He's on my staff, and he's a great conduit to not only Leads but the chamber. And we can't divulge everything, but I think our communities. I think our community would be absolutely surprised and excited at the development that we see coming our direction. That's for the positive for the state of Wyoming. And if Cheyenne is strong, then the state of Wyoming is strong. I think we can help others along the way.
Well said. So I'm just saying, if you continue to support that, then we'll get jobs for the young people in these, transitional industries and the traditional ones. So just support that. And I was just giving you a litmus of what, my friends around the country, and they're going to leave those places. So that's all. Thank you.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the call.
Marian, are you at all concerned about the possibility of violent riots coming to Cheyenne? Is that something that could happen, and is that something we're prepared for if it does?
I am not concerned, and we are prepared for it. There were some rumors rumbling, time flies, probably a few months ago when the first riot started to break out.
I recall that, yeah.
Yeah, and we, our police, as well as we obviously communicate very closely with the FBI and DCI, and there was some Facebook and some other social media chat going on that possibly the folks from Denver were going to come to Cheyenne and cause some bedlam downtown, and that didn't happen, but we were prepared. We were very prepared, and everything has been very peaceful, and I've partaken in, really peaceful conversation as far as the state of where we're at right now. And really, I think what I've learned through all of this is how important it is just to listen, because as a white woman who has essentially been very privileged, I don't know a lot of the stories. And so what I've learned is it's really important for me just to listen and to learn and to do what I can as far as a community leader to make sure that everybody is safe and that our community is one that everybody feels included in.
Looks like we have a caller. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air.
Mayor, could you maybe just explain your position when it comes to coal? I certainly heard your desire to bring in the fossil fuels when it comes to natural gas, but Wyoming's a coal state, and we're getting lambasted by liberals surrounding our state, trying to shut us down. So we'd love to hear your views on whether coal is something Wyoming should continue to fight for.
Thank you for calling in. I do believe that coal is something that we should continue to fight for, and I've spoken with other elected officials, not only on the state but nationally, and I think that, and we haven't gone there yet, but I think that this is a conversation that even needs to take place at a mayoral level, because when it comes to communities in Washington State and Oregon that have the ports, there are some mayors, aside from the ones that we hear about, there are some mayors that actually really want the ports to be able to take our coal and extract it, or move it across into the Pacific. And quite honestly, the coal that's being burned in Asia is the dirtiest coal out there. It's from New Zealand. It's from Australia. And what I don't understand is that if those countries are going to use coal, and they do, and they have horrible, horrible pollution problems, why don't we give them the cleanest coal available? And the cleanest coal available is Wyoming. And so if we're going to do a climate change fight, but if we know that coal is king, let's give them the best and help them out with those pollution problems. And then again, with the technologies that we're developing, let's reach out and help others with the technology for clean burning. And I'm not giving up complete hope that coal will come back, but I think it needs to not be our only reliance industry, if you will, which we completely have been. I grew up without oil and gas. I mean, I grew up in Casper. My family experienced the big oil and bust boom, and our family business did not survive it. So I know the boom and bust cycle of Wyoming personally, but I think coal is very important and should be a big part of our overall portfolio.
Marian, we have about a minute left. Any last thoughts for our audience today? Anything you'd like people to think about when they go vote for mayor?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I humbly ask for our city's vote. I think we've done great things over the past 4 years. I see a really bright future ahead for us. I don't know that Cheyenne needs to be better. I think we're doing great. I mean, yes, you can always be better, but I don't know that it's a horrible place to live, as some of my opponents kind of seem to think that it's all been bad. But things are really good here, and great things are going on, and great things can continue. And I think the only way to continue the trajectory that we're on, which is really positive and great, is to...
I hate to cut you off. We're out of time here.
Okay.
Thanks, Mayor. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
Care.